And one of the biggest things that a lot of people tell us when they're making that move here is, hey Gagan, the weather is really extreme, and that's number one. One of the downsides about Columbus is the fact that its weather is kind of crazy. You are going to get, on average, about 22 inches of snow. But catapulting with that, you also tend to get blizzards. But combined with that, you also tend to get a lot of ice storms. And on the summer days, it tends to be very, very hot. Remember, Ohio is deemed as a Midwestern state, meaning the summers are going to be super hot and humid. So both of these things have to be taken into account. One of the most prominent groups of individuals that we help purchase and sell homes with is relocation clients. And after living in Columbus for 6 to 12 months, there's specific hidden downsides that, well, people just don't know about. So in this video, we've compiled a list of top 5 hidden downsides to living in Columbus that most people simply don't know. And if any of these things are a major factor in you actually making that move here, I wouldn't do it. So let's get started right away. Just recently, our team helped a family from California make that maneuver over here. And one of the things that they mentioned to us is after coming from a tropical location in Orange County, there was a lot of extremes, both in terms of the extreme weather that we face in the summertime, as well as the extreme weather that we face in the wintertime, and the extreme precipitation that comes during the springtime as well. Precipitation is a hard word, but we face over 39 inches of rain annually. Combine that with the fact that we tend to have a lot of thunderstorms as well. There's a lot of things that we have to take into account before making that maneuver. But with that being said, these are also extremes, and I want to preface that by saying they are also extremes, which means you're not going to get this every single day. Columbus does tend to be a little bit warmer. So even if we have terrible, terrible days during the wintertime, it's not going to last long. The weather, as affluent as it may be, it is pretty sporadic. So don't expect every single day to be completely bamboozled with rain, showers, winter, thunderstorms. It doesn't happen. We're talking about the extremes. But if that is okay with you, and those are things that you can live with, then Columbus still might be that go-to place. Our team is working actively right now with a couple from Denver that's making that move here because the husband just got a job. And Karen, the wife, was mentioning to us how Denver is super duper walkable, but Columbus and the surrounding cities aren't. And that leads us to the second thing. Number one, there's a lot of traffic, and number two, there is not that much public transportation. On average, I forgot where I read the statistic somewhere, but people in Columbus, and I forgot where I read the statistic, tend to be in traffic for 31 hours annually. That's a lot of hours. So again, with more and more infrastructure being actively built, and with more and more homes being actively built, there is going to be a heavy emphasis on building that transportation and building that infrastructure out to make sure that people can actually get where they need to go. And combining that with the fact that companies like Amazon are spending billions of dollars to develop infrastructure here, we do see a larger group of population and a lot more people making that move. More specifically than anything else, the one place that I would absolutely be on the lookout for is I-270. I-270 is a outer belt in which a lot of the Columbus traffic tends to catapult and combine right there. If you can, stay away from I-270 in 7 to 9 or from 3 to 6, you'll be golden, because at those times it tends to get really, really bad. And more specifically, if you are living in low-income housing and you don't or can't afford a car or private transportation, it is going to be a lot more difficult, as public transportation hasn't quite developed the way that other major cities have. But if you are okay with the commute, and if you're okay with waiting a little bit longer in terms of driving places, or you don't have to drive during the rush hours, then this really isn't going to be a problem for you. So if those things don't affect you, or you're completely fine, or it doesn't really bother you because you like listening to Katy Perry in the car, which I get it, you're a person of class, then don't worry about it. But let's move on to the third thing, because when we compare cities like Columbus and Cincinnati and everything else, one of the differentiating factors of Columbus is the tons of new build opportunities that are being built. But with this being said, what we do tend to see is as new homes are being built actively, the price of those homes are on the rise. And more specifically, not just the price, but the property taxes are also on the rise. Because statistically speaking, Columbus property tax hovers around 2.3%, while the rest of the state in comparisons is around 1.62%. But again, this isn't as bad as other massive cities like New Jersey, for example, as a state is super duper high. Illinois, New Hampshire's have insanely high taxes. But if you are obviously purchasing a property and you're taking into account all the factors of finances, then property taxes are going to play a massive, massive role. So make sure you understand the financial aspect of it before anything else. We've actually made a guide because of this with specific taxations and specific things to do in specific suburbs that our clients love to see. So if you're planning on making that move to Columbus, whether that be 9 days or 90 days, just comment the word guide and we'll give it to you. It's completely free PDF where you can just get all the information that you need so you can make the best decision for you and your family possible. One of the biggest things that we tend to see in terms of cultural attraction for Columbus is, well, it's not prevalent, or not as prevalent as it could be. And here's what I mean. I'm a refugee. I'm also an immigrant, and I came to this country in 2008 with my family. And one of the biggest things that we tend to see is, well, as people of culture and people of different areas and backgrounds, we like to have some sense of camaraderie and some kind of homage to our lands. That doesn't necessarily exist as much as other massive cities. Places like San Francisco tends to have a ton of Asian population and a lot of things being built there for that location. But places like Columbus, it's still lacking in development in terms of cultural scenes. Now, just to preface this, if you are a Nepali person and you're watching this, first and foremost, hi. And secondarily, places like Reynoldsburg and Pataskala that are only about 15 minutes away from the massive hub are developing a lot of real cool things. So I want to preface everything that I'm saying by, well, number one, things are being built. This is being considered, and as more and more people and more jobs are created here with Amazon and with other massive companies, it's vital that cultural scenes become seen. And as more and more people make that journey here, more and more people will then get the opportunity to create those opportunities. One of the best things is as more individuals make that move, other individuals will make that move with them because, well, there's a sense of camaraderie. And if we can juxtapose that with culture, and if we can create incentivization for people of different ethnic backgrounds to develop things and become entrepreneurs, then they're going to do that. We need to reward people by saying, hey, you get the chance to build something fantastic here, and they will. So I think there's a lot of really cool things that are being built, and again, if that's something that you want to see, just press the subscribe button. We'll put out content every single week, but that is being built, and that's something that really, really excites me. But as of right now, in terms of cultural things and things to really just do, it doesn't exist as much as, well, massive other cities. In fact, Columbus only ranks as the 32nd city in terms of cultural attraction amongst massive cities. And this isn't just for specific groups of people. Outside recreation, dining, going to bars, clubs, everything of that sort in terms of entertainment isn't quite there as, well, massive other cities have developed. So that's something to definitely take into consideration as well. What is your opportunities to socialize? What are your opportunities for, well, people that are younger like myself to get a chance to meet other people and have those networking opportunities, have the opportunities of dating, all those other things? What does that look like for you? And if that's something that's really, really important, then obviously you want to make sure you understand that before you make that move over to Columbus. And finally, last but not least, here's the fifth thing that our clients tell us is a deterrent or something that they wish they had known before they made that move here. And that's that infrastructure is still being built. We talked about infrastructure a little while back, I think like 5 minutes ago or something like that. And I mean more so in the sense of there's a lot more urban sprawl. And because of that, there's a lot more longer commutes. Columbus's metropolitan spans over 5,800 square miles. It's a really big place. And as things aren't quite developed and highways and things of that nature aren't quite there yet, it's going to be a longer period of time in which people have to then be on a specific highway, whereas more people are conjecting into that highway. And statistically speaking, 12% of the highways really aren't in the best condition, meaning that commutes are going to be a little bit more difficult. But this is something that obviously the government has seen and taken into account. One of the biggest things that Columbus has seen is so many more people making that move here, which is great. But also it means more people here, more people taking up the groceries, more people taking up the highways, and just more people, right? So as this becomes an infrastructural issue, and as the government sees this, they have to obviously make sure that they're developing proper things. And in my personal opinion, but essentially what Sister Concepts for me means is developing schools, nursing, grocery stores in such a close conglomeration with other people that they don't have to take the highways. That as new builds begin to develop, that they can build public schools right there, that they can build private schools right there, they can build hospitals and recreations and malls, so people don't have to drive, so people can just walk and they don't have to congest the highways. But that's what I would do. And if these 5 things are anything that deters you from coming to Columbus, well, I'm sorry, but I want to make sure that you know it before you make that move. And again, they're not massive things, at least not in my opinion. Ohio is still fantastic. There's so many investment opportunities as it is. It's still one of the lowest costs of living in the entire nation. And our team gets the chance to help hundreds of families move here every single year. But you still want to make sure that you understand everything, and you want to make sure that even before making that massive move here, that you have the information that you need. But if any of these things don't deter you, we have an awesome team here. They are licensed real estate professionals. Would love the chance to help you make that move, learn some more information about it. Our information is going to be down below in the description somewhere. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.